Welcome everyone. Today we are checking out the BAC Mono R. The BAC Mono R has a top speed of 170 miles per hour. It does 0-60 in a jaw-dropping 2.5 seconds. It comes with a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter inline four-cylinder, which was developed by Mountain. It also has 343 horsepower. It has 243 foot-pounds of torque. The power to weight ratio is 618 horsepower per ton. It redlines at an astonishing 8,800 RPM. It has 343 horsepower and only weighs 1,224 pounds. That is less weight than a smart car and significantly more horsepower. Just think about how that would feel driving that. It would be so much power, and the power to weight ratio is 618 horsepower per ton. That is just absolutely insane coming from a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter inline four-cylinder. So one identifying feature to tell apart the standard mono versus the Mono R is this big intake here on the side. This is going to be your most noticeable aesthetic difference on the outside. Part of why the BAC Mono R weighs so light is because it has titanium, 8P racing calipers, carbon fiber, and it includes a special graphene carbon fiber which is lighter and stronger. One thing I absolutely love is these carbon fiber wheels. The reason to make them from carbon fiber is it's going to be much lighter and stronger. If you were to buy a BAC Mono R, the price starts at $335,000. There are even some reports of these models to going over $500,000 after options. So something I absolutely love about the BAC Mono R is just how exposed and raw everything is. Here at the front, you can see the full push rod suspension completely exposed right down to the carbon fiber. And then look at the suspension in here. That is incredible. Being able to see all the working components and all the aerodynamics. Right back here, you have the inline four-cylinder. Then you got the Formula One style rear diffuser and the brake light and the exhaust. Look how it just shoots out right here. I love this angle right here. Since these are race-designed cars that you can use on the streets, the seats, you can have them custom molded to you from factory, or you could have it with just standard ones to fit your average size. For the R trim level, they're only going to produce around 30 of these, which is absolutely insane and very, very rare to come by. This is the first Mono R I have ever even seen. So to see 1 out of 30 here in the US is absolutely incredible. One thing I love here at the front is the BAC, Briggs Automotive Company, exposed carbon fiber. And then you got the day running lights at the front, and you can then get an idea of just how aerodynamic this is. You can see here, they even designed the mirrors with full aerodynamics to shave weight and have the air pass through efficiently. So this is how you get into the BAC Mono R. First, you're gonna wanna remove the steering wheel. I'll show you in a sec how to get that, but you just pull the two levers, pull that out. You wanna set it up here. Then you take one foot in, brace yourself, and then just carefully lower yourself in. Once you're in, then you want to grab your steering wheel. You can either grab it like this and pull it, or you can put your hands through the wheel and then you just pull on the gold tab. You want to line it up straight, and then you just slide it on and you're in. All right, so the start process, or at least getting into first gear, you're gonna press, there's a little red button down here. You first wanna press that. Then you'll press the big R right here in the center. And then to get into first gear, you press the clutch, hold neutral, and then select first gear. And it is hydraulic that does that. It is absolutely insane. And the car is so raw, you can feel all of it when you're doing that. And then here's it going back to neutral. Oh. All right, so starting it, just press the clutch in, and then you press and hold the R. I don't know if you can hear me, but the intake is just to the left of me, and you can hear all that air getting sucked in right there, and you can just feel the power of the engine behind you. This is absolutely crazy. All right, here in the BAC Mono R, how to start it up. You first press this power button once, then you'll press the R once. It'll basically boot up the whole system. And then as long as everything's in neutral, you press and hold the R. And then to get yourself into first gear, you're gonna then push the clutch in, press and hold the neutral button, and then pull your right lever or your upshift once, and that will get you into first gear. All right, so then once you're in first gear, you're gonna use the clutch from a standstill and getting into first gear like a regular manual car. If you rev the car to over 4,000 or 5,000 RPM, you don't need to use the clutch to shift gears. But if you're going below 4,000 RPM, you really need to use that clutch because it is going to be very rough and very jerky, and you could potentially damage the vehicle. So if you're above 4,500, no clutch necessary, just shift your gears. But if you're below 4,000, you're going to want to use that clutch like a regular manual, just also selecting your up gear or down gear. Now, some of you may be wondering, what are all of these buttons in here? Well, we'll run through them real quick. Right over here, that is your main power button. This here is your traction control. It has different settings, 1 through 5. 5 is completely on, 1 is pretty much almost off, and then you can actually fully turn it off. Then over here, you actually do have a fire suppression system. The fire suppression system has 4 different outlets within the vehicle in which it releases it. Right down there below the fire suppression, you have brake biased, so you can adjust how the brake sensitivity is between the front and the rear. Then here on the wheel, like we went over earlier, this is you press it once for boot up, you hold it down to start it. Here is your rear fog lights, hazards, neutral, your low beams, your high beams, your left turn signal, your right turn signal, your horn. This is your parking brake. This is your stop and start of the timer, so you can do track days and have a clock going. And in your gauge menu, this is arrow up and this is arrow down. So here I am in the Mono R. This is amazing. You got this giant intake just to the left of you, which when it's on, you can just hear all that air getting sucked right in. And it's pretty snug in here. Now, I'm on the skinny side, so it's not too bad for me, but just looking back there, you got that giant wing, which is molded right to the body, and then you got the engine right behind your head. Everything about this car is just so raw. And nice thing about the interior is it all just is so quality. You've got this suede or Alcantara, the carbon fiber, it feels really nice. If you need something like your phone or maybe the keys, you just put them in the side. And you got a little wind visor to help the wind go over. From factory, you do get a helmet specially made to match the design and the aesthetics of the body. And then here you can see right in the mirror just that intake. And then on the other side, you can just see the wing. It's amazing. All right, so getting out of the BAC Mono R, you just pull the gold tab here, pull it straight out. Then super nice, they designed this specifically for you to be able to put your steering wheel on. Then you just use the sides, pull yourself up, 1 foot out, then the other one, and you're out. All right, and then to open the front hatch, you'll press this button right here, turn it on, then right back in here, there's a hatch button. You can see it pops that. Then you'll reach under here, pull lever that right there, pull that towards you, then it releases it. And what's amazing is there's so much space. This here is designed for you to put your helmet in. Not quite sure what you're gonna wanna put up there, but maybe there's a few little things. Nice thing, you can see the full suspension at this angle. All right, everyone, that is going to wrap up this week's video. I am so blessed to be able to come review one of these. And thank you to the Fuel Social Club in Auburn, Indiana, for lending us this space to be able to come and review this incredible BAC Mono R. And this has just been a complete dream car to be even able to just see one, let alone review one. I remember first seeing this car in the game Need for Speed Most Wanted back in 2012, and it is just amazing to be able to just have one here, get to experience it, and have this opportunity. I'll see y'all in the next one.